Hey, what's going on? Hope you're doing well today. I just finished shooting an audition and I thought I'd share with you some of the tips and tricks that I use to memorize lines. Now, I'm not claiming to be an expert of any kind. These are just some of the practices that I like to utilize on set as well as off set. In some previous experiences, I've been handed scripts 10 minutes before shooting, and I've had to practice and rehearse them very quickly and get everything to a point where I could perform serviceably. Now, obviously the first thing that I do is read the script several times. And then I read it again a few more times, this time trying to pick out any particular words or phrases that I can use as an anchor and try to memorize which segments of my dialogue those anchor words belong in. So it kind of helps with the ordering of everything. In another audition I had done previously, one of the words was unscrupulous individuals. And that word stood out to me as something that should be memorized specifically. And I remembered that those specific words were in the final segment of my dialogue. And from there, I just had to segment every other line of mine similarly to that, picking out individual words that kind of stood out and just remembering, okay, this one's in the third, this one's in the second, and this one's in the first line of dialogue. From there, I move on to reading the script aloud so that I get used to hearing it being spoken and not just in my head, if that makes any sense. I usually start at like a mumble or sort of very soft, low volume until I'm at my normal speaking voice. From there, I start slowly getting rid of the script and just reading, let's say there's 4 lines of dialogue that I have to remember. So I read the first line of dialogue without the script. I just memorize the first line of dialogue and then read the rest of it. And then from there, I do the first and the second lines of dialogue without the script. And then the third, and then the fourth, until I can get to a point where I can comfortably recite the dialogue without needing the script. I do refer back to the script if I tend to flub a line or two, just to refresh my memory about what that specific word or collection of words was. Another tactic I like to use is replacing a word with a synonym of that word that feels a little bit more comfortable to me. Something I might say more often in my everyday life, as long as it doesn't change the tone of the entire line or scene. I find that these little subtle changes in dialogue really help with the memorization process. Of course, probably one of the best ways to memorize lines very quickly is to read with a partner. This can be a friend, a roommate, or a fellow actor that you're going to be in the scene with. Not only are they reading the other lines for the other characters in the scene, but they can also read my lines to me as well in case I make a mistake or forget what I'm supposed to say. Once I'm comfortable and have the lines memorized, I can then move on to the delivery of those lines. So yeah, those are some ways that help me to memorize my lines quickly and effectively. Now, obviously, everybody's going to have their own techniques on memorizing lines effectively. There really is, in my opinion, no right or wrong way, as long as it gets you to the place where you can perform your lines correctly in the scene. And again, I'm no expert or masterclass instructor when it comes to memorizing lines for film or TV. These are just a few of the methods that I like to use right now. Anyways, What are some of your favorite memorization techniques? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.